Dust rolls across the valley of Elah. The air hums with tension. Two kingdoms stare across the field, Israel and the Philistines. A lone raven circles above. Below, thousands of soldiers wait, not for orders, but for courage. King Saul stands upon a hill, armor gleaming yet heavy with fear. He looks at the horizon like it holds a storm he cannot stop. Trumpets sound from the enemy camp. Out of the smoke steps a giant 9 feet tall, wrapped in bronze and arrogance. The soldiers whisper one name: Goliath, the champion of Gath. He raises his spear the size of a weaver's beam. His laughter echoes off stone and faith alike. "Send me your best!" he roars. Israel's ranks fall silent. Even the wind seems afraid to move. For 40 days he mocks them. Morning and evening his voice breaks their will. Every insult becomes a wound. Far away in Bethlehem, a young shepherd tunes his harp. His name is David, youngest of 8, unseen but not forgotten. He plays a melody only heaven recognizes. Each note carries purpose, each breath preparation. His father Jesse calls from the house, "Take this bread to your brothers, they fight for Saul." David nods, unaware that obedience is about to collide with destiny. The sun climbs as David walks the dusty road toward war. A sling hangs by his side. Simple, silent, deadly. In the Philistine camp, Goliath polishes his blade, smiling. He believes his victory is tradition, not battle. At the Israelite line, men whisper prayers without conviction. Their helmets shine, but their faith does not. David arrives, handing bread to trembling hands. He looks toward the valley, sees the giant for the first time. The crowd parts as Goliath steps forward again. "Where is your God now?" he shouts. David's eyes narrow. The sound of mockery offends something sacred inside him. "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine," he mutters, "that he should defy the armies of the living God?" His brothers pull him aside, anger and shame mixing in their voices. "Go home, shepherd. This is no place for boys." But David's resolve is not born of pride. It's born of calling. Word reaches King Saul. A boy has challenged the giant's words. A boy who doesn't tremble. Saul summons him. When David enters, the king laughs softly, not from cruelty, but disbelief. "You are but a youth," Saul says. "Goliath has been a man of war since his youth." David steps forward, eyes burning with quiet fire. "I have slain lions and bears while tending my father's sheep. The same God who delivered me then will deliver me now." The tent falls silent. Even the guards lower their spears. Saul stares for a long moment, then nods. "Go, and the Lord be with you." Armor is brought to fit David, but it weighs more than the courage he already carries. He removes it all: sword, helmet, shield, choosing faith over metal, purpose over pride. At a nearby stream, he kneels, 5 smooth stones, each one a promise of what happens when belief meets destiny. The valley hums with tension as soldiers prepare for another day of fear, but this time someone new walks among them, unshaken. David steps forward, his sling coiled like a serpent at his side. The murmurs ripple through the crowd like wind through dry grass. Saul watches from his tent. He's sending a shepherd to fight a monster. In the Philistine camp, laughter erupts. The giant is told his challenger is a boy with sticks. Goliath grins, teeth gleaming under the morning sun. He lifts his spear and begins his slow, thunderous march forward. The ground trembles beneath each step. Dust spirals like storm clouds forming around him. Across the field, David walks calmly. No armor, no fear, just purpose. The armies part, creating a canyon of silence between faith and arrogance. Goliath stops, towering over David like a mountain over a stream. He sneers. "Am I a dog that you come to me with sticks?" David looks up, voice steady and sure. "You come with sword and spear, but I come in the name of the Lord of hosts." The words hang in the air like thunder before lightning. Even Goliath's laughter falters. Birds scatter from the cliffs. Heaven itself seems to lean closer. David steps onto the battlefield's center. One hand grips the sling, the other reaches for a stone. He runs his thumb over it, smooth, perfect, chosen. 5 stones, 1 destiny. Goliath raises his weapon, the blade gleaming like a sunrise of steel. His voice booms across the valley. "Come to me, boy, and I'll feed your flesh to the birds." David's hair blows in the desert wind. His heart does not race, it roars. He whispers, "The battle is the Lord's," and begins to move. One step, 2 steps, then he breaks into a sprint faster than fear, faster than thought. The giant steadies his aim. David's sling circles above his head, a storm in motion. The first stone leaves his hand. It sings through the air, guided by something unseen. Time slows. Every soldier holds their breath. The stone strikes flesh and bone, a single sound crack. Goliath's eyes widen, disbelief frozen mid-breath. The mountain begins to fall. He crashes to the earth like thunder finding its echo. Silence devours the valley. Dust settles around David's feet. He stands, no sword, no shield, just victory. The Philistines hesitate. Then the first scream breaks out: panic, disbelief, fear. David walks forward, calm as dawn. He picks up Goliath's sword, a weapon meant to destroy him. With one clean motion, he ends the war that began with pride. The giant lies still. The boy stands tall. From the hills, the armies of Israel erupt in shouts of triumph. Heaven records the moment when courage met arrogance and faith did not blink. The valley echoes with shouts of victory. Men drop their swords and fall to their knees. They saw faith do what fear could not. David stands over Goliath's fallen body. The sword still glints in the light, heavy with meaning. He lifts the giant's head high, not in pride, but in proof. Proof that God still moves through men. From the ridges above, Saul watches awe mixed with unease. A king who just met the man heaven will replace him with. Trumpets sound as soldiers flood the field. The Philistines scatter like ashes on the wind. Israel's banners rise, torn yet shining. The valley that once echoed with fear now sings with glory. David walks through the camp, silent, blood-stained, changed. Every eye follows him. Saul steps down from his horse. The boy who was nobody now stands taller than every general. "Whose son are you?" Saul asks. David answers, "The son of your servant Jesse of Bethlehem." The king nods slowly. The name will haunt him for years. The army celebrates deep into the night. Fires burn, songs rise, and David's name spreads faster than flame. Women dance through the streets as the men return home. They sing, "Saul has slain his thousands, and David his 10,000s." The words slice through Saul like a hidden blade. Jealousy is born in a single verse. David notices the look in Saul's eyes, admiration turned shadow, but he says nothing. That night, David sits alone, polishing his sling. He whispers thanks to the God who saw him when no one else did. In Saul's tent, silence turns into storm. He grips his spear, eyes red with envy. A whisper in his mind says, "The people love him more than you," and Saul listens. Outside, the soldiers chant David's name again. Faith has a sound, and it's louder than fear. Jonathan, Saul's son, enters the tent. He's heard the stories, he's seen the boy. When Jonathan meets David, there's no rivalry, only respect. Two souls recognize destiny in each other's eyes. Jonathan removes his robe, his sword, his bow. He gives them to David, symbols of covenant and brotherhood. In that moment, heaven forges a friendship that defies politics and bloodlines. Days turn to weeks. David plays the harp in Saul's court once more, soothing the king's troubled mind. But the music that once healed him now reminds him of what he fears losing. One night, as David plays, Saul's hand tightens on his spear. The melody turns into silence, broken by the sound of betrayal. Saul hurls the spear. David moves like lightning. The weapon strikes the wall behind him. The guards freeze. David meets Saul's eyes. Pain, not anger, fills them. He leaves the chamber quietly. The harp still rings with the note of mercy. Outside, stars burn over Jerusalem. David looks up, wondering if peace ever lasts long in the hearts of men. In the palace, Saul stands alone. The echo of his own jealousy is louder than any enemy's war cry. The palace grows colder each night. Saul's dreams are haunted by a crown slipping from his head. David feels it too, a weight, not of armor, but of destiny. He knows the throne calls him, but the time isn't yet. Saul's spies whisper through the halls. Every meal, every step David takes is watched. Jonathan warns him, "My father seeks your life. You must flee tonight." David grips his friend's forearm. "Whatever happens, remember my loyalty is to God and to you." They embrace beneath the moonlight, two brothers bound by faith, not blood. David slips into the forest, cloak wrapped tight. The crown chases him, but heaven hides him. He travels alone, no army, no home, just a harp and a sling. The wilderness becomes his kingdom. At Nob, he finds refuge among priests. They feed him holy bread and lend him Goliath's sword, the same blade that ended the giant. He grips it and whispers, "The Lord delivers again." Word reaches Saul. His anger burns hotter than any battlefield. "Find him," the king roars. "Bring me the shepherd who thinks he can be king." David hides in caves, his prayers echoing off stone. Why do the wicked prosper while the chosen run? But heaven answers with silence, the kind that builds warriors, not comfort. He gathers outcasts and soldiers of debt, men broken by life but drawn to his courage. They follow him into exile, an army of nobodies led by faith, not fear. In Saul's court, the prophet Samuel's words replay in the king's mind. "The Lord has torn the kingdom from you." Saul drinks deep from a cup of regret, but never repentance. David's band moves through the desert. At night they share fire and stories. The shepherd who became a fugitive becomes legend. In the cave of Adullam, David writes psalms by torchlight, songs not of victory, but survival. "Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death," his voice trembles, but does not break. Saul marches with 3,000 men, a king chasing the man God already chose. They camp outside the cave where David sleeps. Fate has a strange sense of humor. At midnight, David wakes and creeps towards Saul's resting place. His men whisper, "This is your chance. Kill him." David kneels instead. He cuts a corner of Saul's robe, mercy over murder. As dawn breaks, he steps out and calls, "My lord, the king! I could have taken your life, but I chose your peace." Saul stands, robe torn, eyes wet. For a moment the madness fades. "You are more righteous than I," Saul admits. "May the Lord reward you for the mercy you've shown." But envy is a poison that forgiveness can't always cure. Even as Saul rides away, darkness stirs again within him. David watches the horizon, wind tugging at his cloak. He whispers, "Not yet, Lord, but soon." The desert sun bleeds across the hills. David's men rest in the shadows, but his eyes never close. He carries peace like a sword, always ready. A messenger arrives breathless. The Philistines raid the borders again. Even hunted, David still defends the nation that hunts him. He leads his men to battle not for reward, but for purpose. Each victory whispers that he's already king in spirit. Word spreads through Israel. The shepherd protects where the crown cannot. Saul hears it, and his jealousy deepens. Power never forgives what reminds it of its weakness. By night, David kneels beneath the stars. "The Lord is my light," he prays, "and my salvation, whom shall I fear?" He dreams of oil dripping from Samuel's horn. The prophet's voice still echoes, "You are anointed." Meanwhile, Saul grows restless. He consults dark spirits. The silence of God drives him mad. In the witch's chamber at Endor, torches flicker like guilty souls. Saul's voice trembles, "Bring me Samuel." A cold wind fills the room. The dead prophet rises not in peace, but warning. "Tomorrow, you and your sons will fall on Gilboa," Samuel says, voice hollow, final. Saul staggers back, face pale as moonlight. Even kings can't bribe destiny. Far away, David plays his harp by the fire. He feels something shift in the air, a kingdom breaking. The next morning, the horns of war sound again. The Philistines march on Israel with vengeance. On Mount Gilboa, Saul stands in battered armor. His sons fight beside him, Jonathan, brave and loyal to the end. Arrows rain like divine judgment. The king bleeds from wounds that faith could have healed long ago. He falls upon his own sword. The empire dies before the man does. News travels through the land like thunder. Israel mourns their first king is gone. When David hears, he tears his robe and weeps. Even betrayed men cry for the fallen. He writes a lament for Saul and Jonathan. The mighty have fallen, and the weapons of war are perished. Jonathan's death cuts deepest. Brotherhoods forged in faith do not end in death. Days later, David stands before his men. They look to him as they once looked to Saul. Prophecy catches up with time. The tribes of Judah call his name. Oil flows once again upon his head, the same boy who faced giants now crowned as king. He bows not to applause but to purpose. Not my will, Lord, but yours. From the hills of Hebron to the gates of Jerusalem, songs rise, David reigns in Zion. But victory has two shadows, power and temptation. He feels both watching him already. At night, he walks the palace corridors alone. Gold and marble can't silence the echoes of the cave. He touches Goliath's old sword mounted on the wall, a reminder, Every giant you slay leaves another inside you. David looks out over his kingdom, the shepherd, the warrior, the king. He whispers, "The Lord gave, the Lord rules." Years pass. The crown no longer feels heavy, it feels lonely. Power isolates even the chosen. David walks through the palace gardens at dusk. The same hands that once held a sling now hold a scepter. He listens to the songs written about him, but fame sounds hollow when heaven is quiet. He kneels before the ark and whispers, "Don't let my victories become my prison." Outside, Jerusalem flourishes stone by stone. The city of God rises. Inside, David battles the shadows in his own heart. Temptation doesn't come as war anymore. It comes as comfort. He looks out one night from his rooftop, sees beauty not meant for him. The war returns, this time inside his soul. He falls, and the weight of guilt crushes harder than Goliath ever did. Even kings bleed when they disobey heaven. Prophet Nathan enters the court, his words cut cleaner than any blade. "You are that man," Nathan says, and the palace goes silent. David doesn't deny, doesn't run. He bows his head and whispers, "Create in me a clean heart, O God." Tears fall on the marble. Repentance sounds like thunder in heaven. The years that follow are a mixture of scars and songs. From pain, he writes psalms that still heal centuries later. "The Lord is my shepherd," words born from both triumph and shame. He teaches his sons that greatness without obedience is ruin, that giants fall easier than pride. In his old age, he returns to the hills where he once tended sheep, the same sky, the same wind, the same God. He watches a shepherd boy across the field, young, fearless, full of faith, a reminder of who he used to be. He smiles, eyes wet. The Lord chooses the unlikely to prove the impossible. As the sun sets, his harp rests beside him. Its strings whisper softly in the breeze songs of mercy, not might. His final words are not of crowns or conquests, but of covenant. "Tell them, the battle belongs to the Lord." Then his eyes close in peace. The wind moves through the hills of Bethlehem once more. Somewhere, a new shepherd watches the flocks. Generations later, prophets will say his name again. From his line will come another king, greater than any before. One born in a manger, one who will conquer sin the way David conquered giants. The story of David becomes more than history. It becomes prophecy. Statues may crumble, kingdoms may fade, but faith remains eternal. In heaven's archives, his psalms still echo, not of perfection, but redemption. The shepherd who became king, and the king who remembered the shepherd. The giant fell long ago, but the lesson still stands. faith outweighs fear. And that is the story of David and Goliath, how courage born in fields can change the fate of nations, and how one stone of faith still shakes the earth today. Make sure to like and subscribe for more cinematic Bible stories.